Democrats and the unions aren't going to let one of their rubber stamp own go down without a fight, a big fight. So expect it to get hairy as time goes on. I've enjoyed the media stuff. I'm not a beer. Well, I know what you're thinking. It only took me 27 times to do that before I got it right. So I'm going to try and keep everything on as high a plane as possible, because the issue is decided. This is not a personality thing. This is a business decision that voters have to make. And there's a clear distinction between Congressman Perlmutter and myself on so many different things. So my campaign is going to be about the economy, about jobs, and about reining in deficit spending back in Washington, D.C. When I said it's expensive, we need your help. I can't self-fund this. I wouldn't want to even if I could. The reason is if I self-funded, we wouldn't be here. And it's important for me to have stakeholders in my campaign, either verbally. Time, talent, treasure is always welcome to a politician. And so I welcome your opportunity to participate in my campaign. Vote, of course. Financial, of course. Whatever you can do, whatever you feel led to do, greatly appreciated. So, I just like one other thing that you ought to know about for me, and that is that the resources in this country are really staggering, unbelievable. And the EPA and the environmentalists are trying to shut down the process that we have in the United States. I just don't, in terms of energy, I just don't understand, with all the resources we have in the United States, why we would want to spend trillions of dollars, ship trillions of dollars worth of our money offshore to import oil that does nothing but line the pockets of sheiks and all kinds of countries that don't like us. But the EPA and the environmental folks are, for some reason, think that if we get the price of gas up to $8 or $9 a gallon, that wind turbine and solar will be on even par. We'll bankrupt. You don't know how many people will put out of business if that happens. Think about it. Doubling or tripling the price of gas will shut down so much stuff. I don't know what they're up to. I don't get the agenda. It just doesn't make any business sense. But that's why I'm running to help restore the American dream, get us back to 12 million people unemployed, 8 million people underemployed, and we need to do something about getting those folks back to work. So with that, I will be glad to answer any questions that you might have about me or campaign. Yes, ma'am.
You already mentioned how the environmentalists are trying to, and the Obama administration has effectively put in policies that are artificially elevating oil prices. Sierra Club and other environmental groups on the left have just recently announced that they're going to be trying to do the same to natural gas because it is undermining the economic viability of the green energy. What kind of things do you plan to do to help promote utilization of our resources, our natural resources?
Well, in terms of natural gas, that's one of my favorite subjects because I think that our natural gas opportunity for particular transportation is enormous. I'll give you a little tidbit. There are 80,000 oil and gas jobs in Colorado, and a lot of secondary jobs that funnel off of those. 80,000 of those jobs pay $97,000 a year in wages as an average. The average other Coloradoan is $47,000. So there's a huge opportunity there. But getting natural gas, we need an infrastructure system that will allow vehicular transportation to take advantage of natural gas in fueling stations. We need, and the technology is there. We just have to, Congress or actually it would be nice if private enterprise would step up the plate and start funding. And I'm hearing that this is happening. Start funding the infrastructure necessary to utilize our natural gas resources. There is, some of you students of natural gas, I think the ratio right now is 40-1 in terms of the energy content of, the price effectiveness and the energy content of natural gas versus oil versus gasoline is like 40-1 current ratio. That's just on price. A lot of opportunity there to help with natural gas. We can do it environmentally sound. There are plenty of regulations in place to make everything responsible, to do everything responsibly, and I was talking to Corey Gardner this noon, and Congressman Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming, and this noon at a luncheon downtown, and they had just introduced, Corey Gardner had just introduced something called the Energy Jobs Act. It's a really comprehensive, really neat bill. Congress might pass it, but when it goes to the Senate, they'll just sit on it because it doesn't meet their criteria. So we really need, and I would just implore all of you that this is a time when if we stick together in our voting, and don't let little slivers of difference interfere with our votes, because the big prize is getting rid of the current president. The prize for me is getting rid of current congressman, and securing a Senate. Really important that we all step up, take an interest in the politics this year, and get out the vote. I don't know if that answered some of your question or anything else. Yes, sir.
A couple of years ago, I was having a conversation with a friend about healthcare, and he challenged me and said, "Is that a privilege or a right?" And I said, "It's neither one." I said, "What it is the public good." And hopefully Thursday we'll hear the repeal of the current healthcare bill. Hopefully, if you get into Congress, what are your thoughts towards doing something about correcting that?
Well, I'm absolutely opposed to federally mandated health care. There are some good things about Obamacare plan. We need a different plan. We need to start over with, but there is a good platform to start over with how we manage that. Americans have been sold a bill of goods on the Obamacare plan. Care, yes, care for everybody. But there are going to be 22 million people who won't have insurance if Obamacare is allowed to stand. And that's unfortunate. So if anybody here thinks that Obamacare is a solution to all of our health ills, premiums have been going up, what, 20%? Health insurance. So what's in place now hadn't worked, and the worst is to come. So, along that line, my opponent will tell you that I'm trying to change Medicare as we know it. You'll hear that from him, but I will retort that there's only one candidate here who has voted for changing Medicare as we know it, and that's Congressman Perlmutter, because when he voted for Obamacare, the Obamacare package takes $500 billion out of Medicare, puts it into Obamacare.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I don't know what bankruptcy looks like. But some of you, if you've gone through foreclosures or your own personal bankruptcies, you know what that's like. There will be a day of reckoning in the United States. We don't do something.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Along that line, there are I think it was a Tea Party that has asked various congressmen to sign a pledge that they will never raise taxes. And I don't know that that's realistic. I wondered how you felt about that.
Well, it was a Grover Norquist. Is that the thing you may be referring to? And I think, gosh, a couple hundred of my associates have signed that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't intend to sign it.
Okay, good.
But not for the reasons, I'm not trying to say I won't increase taxes, but there are other reasons why I shouldn't have to sign that to make a case about how I feel about taxes. I will tell you that the Bush tax cuts need to be extended for 5 years minimum. The corporate tax rate needs to come down. It's the world's highest, free world, it needs to come down at least a third. You know, there's $1 trillion